What if I told you that a candle doesn't have to burn as quickly as it does? The way a candle burns depends on three surprisingly important things: oxygen, the wick, and the wax. And understanding these three things can help you make a candle burn longer without changing the candle itself. First, here's something that surprises a lot of people. The wax itself isn't really burning as a solid. When you light a candle, the flame heats the wax around the wick. The wax melts, then the liquid wax travels upward through the wick by a process called capillary action. As the liquid wax reaches the hot part of the wick, it vaporizes, and those wax vapors are what actually react with oxygen and produce the flame. So think of the wick as a tiny fuel delivery system. Too much fuel reaching the flame, and the candle can burn quickly. Too little, and the flame struggles. Now let's talk about the wick. A longer wick isn't necessarily better. In fact, an overly long wick can create a larger flame. A larger flame produces more heat. More heat melts more wax, and more melted wax means more fuel becomes available to the flame, so the candle can burn faster. That's why trimming the wick before lighting a candle can help control the burn. For many candles, keeping the wick around 1/4 of an inch, or about 6 millimeters, is a useful starting point. The exact recommendation can vary by candle, so follow the manufacturer's instructions when available. The goal isn't to make the wick as short as possible. The goal is to keep the flame controlled and stable. But there's another ingredient you can't see: oxygen. A candle needs oxygen to keep burning. The flame pulls oxygen from the surrounding air. If air can move freely around the flame, combustion can continue efficiently. But here's where things get interesting. If the candle is exposed to strong airflow, the flame can flicker and lean to one side. That movement can increase heat transfer and disturb the normal burn pattern. So putting a candle directly in front of a fan isn't a good way to make it last longer. You want a stable environment, not a strong draft. A calm flame generally burns more consistently. Now we get to one of the most important parts: the wax pool. When a candle burns, the flame creates a small pool of melted wax around the wick. That melted wax feeds the flame. If the candle is burning properly, the flame gradually melts the wax outward from the wick. But if you burn the candle for only a very short time and repeatedly extinguish it, something interesting can happen. The candle may develop a tunnel. The center melts, but the wax around the edges doesn't. Eventually, you can end up with a deep hole in the middle